Good evening, /morning, /afternoon, or wherever you are and whatever time it is when you're listening to this. This is the third podcast for the Gingamob Incidents development. I am Charlie, lead designer, and I'm here with...
Ryan, the project lead, and is very surprised by number 3.
Very surprised by number 3?
I'm sorry, I thought it was like, here to number 3. It was just like, wow, we followed through.
Yeah, we've made it to 3. Yeah. No.
We made a schedule every 2 weeks.
And
I'm here too. I'm Shannon. I was in the last podcast. I am the lead programmer.
Hell yeah. So today we are here to discuss our theme this week is remastering, because that's what we've been up to for the past week or so, 2 weeks since Game Jam.
I said 3 or 4 weeks.
3 or 4 weeks, yeah.
Started around week 2 back into development.
Yeah, it's been going for a while now. But we're getting very close to officially pretty much re-putting the game together graphically, almost from the ground up. We had all our meshes and models, and we just had to retexture all of those. Ryan started that.
Well, we did like drop a few models. Like we dropped all the crates, all the barrels.
Yeah. We
some of the models had really bad UV layouts, so we had to redo a few of those models. We added another 15 to 20 models.
Yeah.
So it kind of was from the ground up.
Yeah, it kind of was from the ground up. You're right. We kept, I'd say, like half of our old models and used those as kind of a basis, and then we worked off of that and then made new models and textured those new models with our new style, which is very reminiscent of Bendy and the Ink Machine.
Funny enough, though, I remember when we were thinking about doing this art style, we kind of looked at, we were at my place, we watched a little video, and the one fear we had was how would that style translate into color?
Yeah,
it was that style fit very well for a monotone.
Yeah. Bendy and the Ink Machine is a sepia toned game with pretty much only brown and black, and like brown and orange and like beige. And it's but yeah, we were wondering how that would translate to our very colorful style in VR.
And we kind of didn't have a backup plan. So if that failed, it would have been back to the drawing board. And thankfully, it didn't fail.
No, yeah, it looks very nice, I think.
Yeah.
It's very sketchy, but that's part of it.
Yeah, when some people see it, we're
not texture artists.
When people well, the thing is that when people see the game, they love the textures because like, oh, that's really cool. People who are texture artists are really
that's great. Cool. I've never talked to
the textures. However, at the same time, it's always followed by I've never seen a sketch texturing.
Really?
Like that.
Really?
Well, it's because remember, a game like Bendy is the only game that's really done it, and Bendy is also it's a well known in the horror community, but it's not very well known outside of it.
It's a small game,
I
very small game.
think it's definitely part of a more indie visual style that we're not really. We have it here at SCAD, but there's so much about art here, and so much of it is getting that AAA look that a lot of students also don't experiment with that sort of style because they're afraid of detracting from their AAA portfolio.
Definitely, no doubt.
But there's definitely I think if you go back far enough, like early 3D games, sort of PS2 era, when people started to get a handle on 3D and start to get a little more creative with it and try to work within their boundaries, you start to get more styles like what we're working with now.
I mean,
so in a way, it sticks with the retro style idea.
Yeah, it does definitely.
Yeah.
I think the only reason why I was more in for this one was because my entire time being in school and working in game design, whenever I had a texture, whenever I do anything really, I like to not go in my comfort zone because I feel like you should learn things outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And I would always try to learn hyper-realistic. Spoiler alert, I still really can't do hyper-realistic
that well. Yeah, because that's like jumping into the deep end of the pool.
It is, and I always was more comfortable doing cartoony, doing more of a stylized approach, but it's very much looked down upon where we are. It's very much looked like unless you want
to make those AAA games.
Well, I would just say a big part of it is PBR is still a relatively new way of handling your materials in your engine, and so it's a skill that the school really wants to teach you because it is one that is less known by people,
on the rise.
Yeah, and things that people can't learn independently. Like a lot of modders, as teens, they teach themselves how to texture mod growing up in a very traditional, texturing pipeline. Drawing on the maps and then like, putting them back into the game.
Yeah.
But PBR requires a completely different approach, and one that can only be done in Engine, so it's, one you can only really learn at school, or if you own, like UE4 or other PBR supporting engines. So it's there's also an element of exclusivity there, I think. In teaching that sort of method.
The sound in particular was very like, I just picked a bunch of sounds from just all around the internet, and they varied in quality and length and all kinds of shit. So I just had to go back and remaster the sounds by picking the appropriate, like everything had to sound very similar, consistent and high quality, and so you could, so you're not just hearing a really nice crackle of a fire and then you hear some shitty like low res of a ghost in the background.
It wasn't really. I don't think that was really like anyone's. Like it was everyone's fault, but also no one's fault because the vision changed a few times through iteration. So the sound, you'd get 4 or 5 sounds that was the idea for one back.
Yeah.
Then the next idea would come and you get the sounds for that idea. So by the time we got to the final idea, we had a bunch of these sounds that matched the previous iterations of the game.
A bunch of different iterations. Like we talked about last podcast, our variety of iterations that we've had across this game. You're totally right. All the sounds came from like a variety of iterations of this very different idea.
That's true. Yeah.
But in terms of code, it seems like Shannon, you've been going back through and like I guess remastering is not the word, but
cleaning. I guess that would be the word.
Some spring cleaning.
Yeah, a lot of the code that I guess existed in the engine already, it functioned and was relatively close to its final functionality. But there was a lot of cases where either the implementation was like poorly handled or kind of messy, like a lot of stuff where like blueprints that could be like all tied from one parent actor that controls all of them. They were all their own individual blueprints in it. Like all the potions still, I think, are all like independent, even though they really should be tied to one parent potion actor instead of just having that code throughout. But besides that, probably the biggest changes were to the AI, which I had to clean up a lot in order to make it function the way it was originally intended. Because when we ended last quarter, it still had some bugs, and it mostly involved going back into the behavior tree and fixing that up. But now the AI works pretty much
just
perfect.
Fine.
I miss our electric slide AI.
They don't. They used to, every time you would like get seen by them and then leave a room, they would like lose awareness and then start like electric sliding across the floor.
Yeah,
they'd have an anxiety attack.
Yeah, that was due to a silly mistake in like how I changed their values. There would be like this thing where it'd go through depending on what state they're in. They would say like, okay, multiply your walk rate by like 1.5, so you're going like 50% faster. But what I never did was reset that walk rate value, so it would like, it'd say take walk rate 1.5, set new walk rate. What it really should be, those should be 2 separate values, so that one is always static. There is always one basis for their speed.
Okay.
And then one that is their current speed.
Cool.
Yeah, so that was a really basic oops.
That seems like an easy fix.
Yeah, because what was happening is like it would be going through these states and they would exponentially be increasing their speed, and that's what would cause them to slide around like that. It was very silly.
Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know exactly how that happened.
Everything is just a basic oops.
Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like a lot of our issues.
Basic oops of a checkbox.
Yeah. Always check your checkboxes, kids.
We talked about sound. We talked about the code, which is amazing how quickly you worked everything out.
Yeah, no doubt.
I thought we would still be, I didn't think we'd be as far as we are now.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Art.
Yeah, so I guess art's really the last main column.
It's like it's also the big. I think that's what led us to remaster.
Yeah, I think it is overall.
And I think I was part of the code team at first, and I coded a lot of the VR implementation.
Yeah, just get that VR experience.
It opened up a lot of time when we came back, and I didn't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So thankfully, I had time to help with the remaster process.
No doubt. Yeah, you started it.
You see games and you're like, oh, that doesn't look that hard to remaster. And then you're finally part of something that has to be remastered, and you're just
it's not all that easy. Surprisingly.
It's not. It's really not. Well, the thing is, like, it's not like the hardest thing in the world.
Yeah,
at the same time,
it's tedious.
It's very tedious.
Tedious
it's
as
very,
a
very
motherfucker.
tedious. And the whole remaster, because it wasn't even a remaster in textures, we had a remaster by level size.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had to
Oh,
shrink everything down.
Forgot about that.
Yeah,
like,
that's a big point. All our level design completely was revisited.
Second floor got really changed because how the second floor was originally made. It was how big it originally was. The hallways kind of can run.
Mm-hmm.
Now that the new size came in, a lot of the hallways had to twist and turn more to kind of get to that end point.
Right.
And rooms that were really bare, I had to maybe put a maze or I had to do something with them because I didn't want to have empty rooms anymore.
Yeah, to fill them up.
Because if you go back to our old game, it was just a lot of
It's
empty.
a series of empty rooms.
And I think for this remaster, we kind of took away the open worldness because we learned
it's a little more.
We're telling a story.
Yeah.
It's
and
a
you
dense
learn
experience.
you learn that open world's the hardest thing to make. It's always gonna be the hardest thing.
No,
So we got rid of the open world and like the 50 different ways you can end it.
Yeah.
But we still reward exploration. We still reward spending your time. But it's also
keeping
a
the core
narrative.
elements of exploration inside the house without keeping that massive size and like just confusing kind of layout.
I don't
And
think
then
anyone got past the first floor for like the first 5 weeks because like where
it
am
was,
I going?
Yeah, it was so big that nobody really finished that first level.
We kind of remastered and redid all of our characters and added a few more
Yes,
characters.
So have we talked about the female ghostie on a podcast yet?
We were very the last time we brought her up, she was still in the development phase of what her role was going to be in the game.
Incubation.
Because originally our idea for her was she was going to be part of like the inhabitants of the ethereal realm, and that's what we thought originally.
Very background.
And then she originally, now she's actually a character you interact with, a character you actually get to spend a lot of time with.
Just for a little bit of context, we originally the game had 2 characters, not counting the main protagonist that you play as. It had the warlock and the master wizard. It was wizard versus wizard. But eventually Ryan came up with the idea that this last 3rd level that we have, which is you're exploring the ethereal realm after you've been captured by the warlock, essentially, kinda. He explained that it was going to be empty. It was going to be a very empty level.
It was going to be empty, but it was also going to be boring if you're alone.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. Empty as in no signs of life, and nothing to really catch your attention other than the obstacles in your way.
The giant door in the middle.
And the giant door in the middle.
Yeah.
So we added a female ghost character that's almost like a security system for the gate in the warlock. And Ryan eventually he was pitching this idea, and she was just kind of going to be like a side character to fill the time in that last level. But eventually Ryan just dished out this one sentence that really caught my attention and Shannon's attention. I remember Shannon said like, "Oh, that's some next level shit," where he said that the female ghostie is essentially because the master wizard and the warlock are parallels to one another. So who's the parallel to your character? It's the ghostie.
She's going to be the most normal thing you see all day.
Yeah, she is the person that is like your warlock, but like not in the sense of the total opposite evil version. She's just kind of parallel to you.
And the only reason why I thought that was just like what in my head was like, okay, what happens if these 2 humans are the crazy ones and like the weird female alien creepy thing is the normal thing you get to meet.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's pretty much how she got introduced. Does that about cover it? Does that about cover? Oh, the one final thing. Yeah, we did a trailer recently. That was our
rough draft trailer.
Rough draft trailer. Yes. It was
It's not our final.
Yeah, not our final.
Just an idea of what it would be, though.
Yeah. So it's a really solid idea of what the end trailer is going to be, or what our launch trailer is going to be. It was our midterm, so that's what we got graded on in the middle of the quarter, and I put that together just like in a night. It was a good time, and I'll put it up at the end of the podcast. Might as well, so you guys can take a look at it. It's pretty funny. But yeah, that was a good time. I had not much to say about that. I edited it really quick. It was a good time.
I mean, I think it was also not the editing. That was it was harder, but it was shooting.
Yes,
shooting's a challenge.
Yeah,
shooting took 3 hours.
Yeah,
of taking like 5 or
it was
5 to 9 shots.
Yeah, it was 10 shots. It was we had to get 10 shots. There were 10 shots in the trailer, I think, exactly 10, and we spent the whole class just sitting there in VR acting out our trailer, which was pretty fun.
It was fun, but it's also that problem of what looks fine in VR doesn't look fine on the computer screen.
So we had to have somebody looking at the computer screen.
Like whoever's in the VR does not have the headset on, and you like move your head down, now to the left, now to the down, to the right.
Yeah,
a lot of personal direction.
I think that covers what's been happening the last 2 weeks. Because the funny thing is, usually these podcasts are made for updates, and the thing is, for the updates, for the last 2 weeks and for the last long time, we've been remastering the sound, remastering the art, cleaning up code, remastering all that design, just cleaning our design up, doing the new characters, updating our current characters. Trailers, the newest thing. So this is, a very good. Not only was it our topic, but it was also the thing we've only been doing for such a long time. And now I think by the time we come back for the next one, the game's going to be in its final kind of, we're going to be in the final sprint.
Yeah.
When we come back, it's going to be, I think by then we can officially have like maybe a gameplay video of what this game starts to look like.
I would like that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think that's a solid place to end the podcast at. Yeah. This has been the third Gingamob update podcast. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Is it?
We'll be 2 weeks, and then I think for the final 2 weeks of the game, since those will be the weeks where we do a lot of work, those may be the ones where they actually go up weekly. For the final 2 weeks, they'll be the weekly podcast, because that's a lot of work in 1 week. And we have stuff to show instead of the really uncomfortable video we showed the last 3 podcasts.
The old ass footage we've been using for multiple podcasts now.
We need new footage badly.
But yeah, hopefully by next podcast we will have new footage. And before you go,
if we don't, I'm gonna be very angry.
We don't have any new footage next time. But in the meantime, check out this trailer for the Gingamob incident.
Get back to work. It's just another fine day as the wizard's protege. You'll be engaging in all kinds of activities as my young ward, including organizing my magical concoctions, doing my magical dishes, and generally tending to my every earthly whim. Oh, and occasionally sneaking through massive hordes of flesh-hungry ghouls and ghosties while flinging around potions like a madman. Being my protege is a simple occupation, with only one real rule. Do not touch the Gingamob. You've done it now.